Hi, welcome to my journey. Oh my gosh, I had not wanted to get out. I've been feeling kind of like I'm dragging, low energy. Not sure what it is, but I am gonna go out and pick up my medication. Make sure that I have that because that's important. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of a little depressed because I was trying to get, some diet medication, and I got the runaround about that, right? You don't qualify for it, and I'm like, dang, they don't even know, how hard it was to lose 67 pounds, right, on your own, and then, you reach, 200, and then you're like, ah. You just feel like you can't do it no more. Hold on. And then, you know, thinking that, oh my gosh, we can get out here and, and do the Uber thing, right? Only to find out, they done went up to damn near $4 on gas. Like, what the hell? Right? That's a whole dollar from a week ago, right? And why did they do that? They did this because of the war rumors, right? And you know what that is. That's price gouging. Like, oh yeah, we have a good cause. We can bring it up to $3.19. Now we can bring it up to $3.49. And then you'll see it's like a common conspiracy across the board where they're doing this, even though they're not buying oil by the barrel like that. Okay. So I have a problem with that, just like, I have a problem with any kind of gentrification. All right, I do. So anyway, I drank one of these today. I was up earlier this morning, but I didn't stay awake. I got carried away watching some videos on people who, had received plastic surgery, and people who were taking like Ozempic and the knockoff of Ozempic, right? Trizepatoi or whatever it is, right? But anyway, what I learned about that is that weight loss medication interacts with your hormones, right? Now, a lot of us out here are emotional eaters. So it just makes sense if they got some kind of medication that, intervenes, with your hormones because your emotions are off whack, or because you're stressed, or because, whatever, right? And women, typically, are projected onto, with the problems of the world, right? Whether they know it or not. Some of them are like, no, that's not true, right? But then, they don't know why they feel all of this pressure when, they should be having an easy breezy life. Okay? So anyway, today it wasn't raining, right? Yesterday we had some thunderstorms. And and it's like I said, with the gasoline going up so high, and then, like I said, it went up a whole dollar since I've had my car, and I haven't even had it over a month, okay? So that's a lot to me, which makes me feel good about having taken my trip, because the trip basically costed me only, $20 to go to Houston and another $15 to go to San Antonio and come back home, right? Which that same trip now would cost $40 because the gasoline that went up a whole dollar a gallon. Okay? So and I'm telling you, with the speed limit at 75 and people are going 80 and 85, because that's what they do, right? You tell them it's 75, they're going to go at least 5 miles over the speed limit and expect you to go 5 miles over the speed limit also. And they might go 10 miles and maybe even 20 miles. So if they're going 20 miles over the speed limit, which there were some people who were going 20 miles over the speed limit, they were going about 100 miles an hour. And you could feel the centrifugal force of them going past you at that speed. Okay, so, whew. And it is spring break, so, I am, giving it a benefit of the doubt that during spring break, everything goes up. It does. And that's a shame, okay, that they make it seem like, oh, it's a holiday. Yeah, it's going to cost you more. I'm going to go by Sam's and see how much their gas is. 7-Eleven is like, okay, you can get gas. You can get 2 tanks of gas for 11 cents off. Fill out this app. So here at Murphy, it's $3.28. Okay? At Murphy, it's $3.28. So that's already like 20 cents from 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, all around my neighborhood, is $3.49 a gallon. So it would behoove me to even go to Murphy's and get gasoline for $3.28. So here's the thing that I don't like about these protein shakes, right? There's something unfulfilling about these drinks, right? Yes, you're getting 30 grams of protein. Yes, it's only 160 calories. Yes, you get 24 vitamins and minerals and no sugar. But I just drank one and I was not, I was still hungry, right? And of course, I attribute that to it not having, any fiber. Okay? So you're operating with calories with no fiber. So that's calories that are, is not quite, digestible effectively, efficiently. So, on my way to Sam's Club to get my medication, they didn't give me what I wanted. They gave me my thyroid supplement, and they gave me another antibiotic, because I keep telling them I can't get rid of this mucus. I got mucus in my ears, I got mucus in my sinuses, and it drains down to my throat. I can't taste any food. Right? I'm telling them this. They're like, you want antibiotics? And I'm like, okay, I've already done, several cycles of antibiotics. And, let me go over here and see how much the gas is first. I've done, I've been on this hamster wheel where they're giving me the antibiotics. I'm taking them for 10 days. It gets slightly better. Then, after, 2 weeks, then it returns, but I never get my sense of smell back. That's the one thing I don't get back. I haven't gotten my sense of smell in over a year, right? And I'm not talking about just lightweight stuff. I can't smell heavy stuff. So here at Sam's, it's $3.23. So that's cheaper than over there at Murphy. But I think Murphy also has a 5 cents off. So if it's $3.28 and it's 5 cents off, then that makes it $3.23. So yeah. I might pick up my gas right here at Sam's. Now, here's the thing. If I know that this is, lacking fiber, and I have fiber at the house, why don't I just add it? Because this is individually packaged. It's kind of like on the go type of situation, right? You're on the go, you want to bring it with you, whereas, if I had made it myself, right? If I had made the protein drink myself in a blender, blended it all up and all of that, right? Then I probably would have. Now, I haven't had any creatine or any collagen in damn near a month now. So I might check to see how their prices are here. Because last time I checked, they had collagen for like $20, $23. And they had creatine, but I wasn't even looking, right? Because I wasn't paying attention, how beneficial, creatine is as far as, opening up your muscles and absorbing, fluids. So let's go inside. First, we're going to get our medication, and then we'll walk around the store. Okay. Came out of Sam's paying like almost $150, right? I got some peanut butter fish, some creatine, some Dawn, some collagen, some Fit Crunch, rotisserie chicken, and some Mexican melting cheese, and then my medication here. Yes. So I got what I needed. It's kind of like it used to be, where yeah, it's $150 worth of shit that I need. Now I need like 30 or 40 bucks worth of gasoline, right? And then, getting out the house, but cost me $200. Okay, even though this has all been convenient and everything, my membership is about to expire at the end of March. So we'll see if we keep it. Okay, yeah, at Sam's we are getting the gasoline for $3.23 a gallon. 7-Eleven would have been $3.49. Even with the 11 cents off, it would have been, you do the math. Okay. So, yeah. I'm I'm pleased that, I went ahead and I bought the creatine, the collagen, because I ran out. And even though I usually get that from Swanson's, right? I would have had to wait for it. And the price, it's typically around the same. So I wouldn't really been saving. Hold on. So now my question is, am I going to be able to make the money that I need to make in order to live the lifestyle that I want to live? Right? I mean, there's just no way I could depend on, say, somebody else to help me. Not my children, not a roommate, not a lover. They all failed me, for real. Now, honestly, it cost me $40 to get 12 gallons of gas. Okay? I believe my tank is 15 gallons. So I think I had a little bit left in the tank. Alright? Now, so I don't have to cook meat today. I have chicken, right? I have some chicken broth and some boiled chicken for the pitties, because I supplement their meals, with boiled chicken and bone broth, and the bone broth helps me to know for sure that they're at least getting, enough liquids, right? Because a lot of dogs, they don't drink enough liquids, and that could be the very thing that is causing their demise. All right, because a lot of dogs, they don't drink enough liquids, and and they're eating that dry ass dog food. Okay, that dog food that has a shelf life of 20 years. Yeah. How does that work out with your body? I don't know. It's a good question. So yeah, getting back to what I was saying about these, right? Well, this does have 2 grams of fiber. So it does have a little bit of fiber. So with the 2 drinks that I drank, right? I was 320 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and 60 grams of protein. Not bad, not bad. I really like those fit baked protein bars, because they taste just like a dessert. They are so sweet and so good. Yes. And I also got me some more peanut butter powder, because I drink peanut butter powder in my coffee. So technically, I feel like I should be doing good as far as my protein intake is going to be with the collagen and the creatine, right? I've been without the collagen and without the creatine, and my God, I didn't even know that the collagen had like 18 grams of protein in it. I was like, what? I don't remember it being that high, right? I know the creatine, it had a small amount of protein, like 4 or 5 grams, per scoop. So I think I should be getting back on track, as far as that's concerned. As long as I get back on track, trying to, lose weight, right? Now, I said I was watching some videos, right? Now, let me tell you something. It is very easy for somebody, say 5'7" and above, to hoover around 180 pounds, 190 pounds, maybe even 200 pounds, depending on how much muscle mass that person has, right? I could say that I have pretty good muscle mass, right? Because I've always been fairly muscular and, involved in, at, athletics of some sort. Even if it was on my own, people didn't even know about it, right? Always had weights and stuff at the house, had some type of workout, routine going on, even if it was something as simple as, stretches for 15 minutes, right? And let me tell you something, a lot of people, they make it seem like, you're doing stretches, but if you're doing stretches and breathing, that's just like Tai Chi, right? You don't even know how the health benefit helps you exponentially. Okay? But I was watching, this one lady, she looked like she was tall, right? But she wanted to be, the fabulous. She wanted to be a vixen, right? And she was, right? And she had 2 BBLs, right? Her second BBL, well, she said it wasn't really a BBL because all it involved was moving some back fat and putting it on, her hips and not her butt. I'm like, oh, so it's not a BBL if you put the fat somewhere else? You lipo and put it somewhere else. It's not a BBL, right? Because, there has been a lot of talk and a lot of what do you call it? Putting down, right? Women have been put down for having back fat, right? So I'm watching some of these women who talk about their back fat, right? Where they have gone so far as to soften their rib bones because they felt like their rib cage was too large, to accommodate the type of waistline that they wanted to present, the body silhouette that they wanted. So they had their rib cage bones softened and then molded into a smaller shape. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, why would you be surprised? Why would you be surprised if they could turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man? Why would you be surprised about what they could do, as far as body contouring? But what got me is once you start looking at one of those videos, then several of those videos start trickling down, your algorithm. Okay? So they was trickling down my algorithm and I was watching. And I was in amaze, because like I said, the majority of the time, women, they want to have a small waistline and, hips larger than, say, their shoulder width, or at least as large as their shoulder width. They don't want to come across like, a man, right? And men are typically known to have broad shoulders, and their shoulders are broader than their hips. And if they're not, then, those men sort of get, they get ridiculed as being effeminate, okay? So, I was looking at all of that, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that this was going on, right? The veneers, the body surgeries, and all of this, typically, is the aesthetics, right? We love aesthetics. Our society loves aesthetics, whether they're real or bought, okay? Whether they came in your natural, genes or $4.25. That's almost $5. I mean, we're inching up there to $5 a gallon. Anyway, yeah. So getting back to what I was saying, we've been going through a recession, right? And I guess some people were like, well, it's worth it to them, to feel comfortable, I still say that that's a projection, right? That's a projection that, where men are making it seem like you have to have the perfect body, right? You have to have, at least 10 inches between, your waist size and your hip size, and the greater amount being your hips, of course, not your stomach. Even though there are women who have, big stomachs, like myself. I have a big stomach. Always had a big stomach because I'm a big eater. I like food, right? And that's the one thing that I think about, even when I contemplate, even the idea of surgery, right? So there's this one lady, she's 59 years old. At the time she had got a tummy tuck, a full tummy tuck, right? And she was like, yeah, she was advised, by her friends and family that, this was pretty vain of her, and yay. And she was like, she felt like this was the least that she could do for everything that she has done for other people all her life, that she should be allowed, to have, to love her body the way she wants to love it. So I watched her, she came out of that surgery pretty good, health-wise. I hadn't seen, much videos of her, like the whole difference, being so significant that it was worth the money. Because she said, after counting up the cost and everything, it ran her about, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, to have that done, right? And then my mind started calculating. It's like, oh my gosh, there are people walking around here who have spent like tens and thousands of dollars, to have, reconstruction done, and oh my gosh, if they're not walking around here, proud about that, then why did they do it in the first place, right?